Okay, we just gotta go over some homework problems. Hopefully we can finish early. So now we have to prepare for the test on Friday. Oh, there's some good problems on here. Ah. Okay, number one. Okay, we're missing number one. That means we're just not taking care of the quadrants. Sine x is 1 over root 5. So that makes this 2, and you're in quadrant 2. And cosine of angle y is 4/5, and you're in quadrant 4. Compute cosine. Now remember, every time you have a sign error, it's going to be 2 points. So you got to, and almost every problem, you got to take care of the quadrants. You're going to add up quickly on the test. Okay, so the identity for this is cosine of the first, cosine of the second, plus sine of the first, sine of the second. And cosine 2x, you got 3 identities. By this time, everybody has their favorite, right? Like my favorite is cosine squared minus sine squared. Well, I don't know about you. And sine 2x, there's only one identity. So I guess that has to be your favorite, right? And then once you get to this stage, you just plug in the numbers, right? So what do we got? We got cosine x is negative 2 over root 5 squared minus sine of angle, wait a minute, this is an x fold. Sine of angle x is 1 over root 5 squared. Cosine of y, fourth quadrant, so positive 4/5, plus 2 times sine of angle x is 1 over root 5. Cosine is negative 2 over root 5. And sine of angle y will be negative 3/5. So once you get to here, the most you can have off is minus 1 if you just can't compute that number. So if all your numbers are correct, that's going to be 5 out of 6 on the test right there. I'm not sure if you can have one this easy though. Okay, 3. I think it'll be more like this one here. Tan x is negative 24 over 7. So opposite over adjacent. So this is a 7, 24, 25 triangle. And if you're between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi, you are in the fourth quadrant. Compute cosine of 1.5x. Now how do I split up 1.5x into something I can work with? X plus x over 2, right? 1 plus a half is 1.5, right? Okay, so if you expand this, you get cosine of the first, cosine of the second, minus sine of the first, sine of the second. Okay, so looking at your triangle, cosine of x is what? 7/25? Now cosine of x over 2 is plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine x all over 2. Sine of angle x is going to be negative 24/25. And sine of x over 2 is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine x over 2. Okay, but we already know cosine x is 7/25, right there. That's 7/25. That's 7/25. Okay, the only thing you have to figure out now is, how do I figure out which one to use, the plus or the minus? Well, you have to look at the quadrant of this angle. Well, in this problem, didn't it say x is between 3 pi over 2 and 2 pi? Therefore, x over 2 has to be between, what happens if you multiply everything by a half? 3 pi over 4 and pi. So if you're between 3 pi over 4 and pi, you are in the second quadrant. So cosine of a second quadrant angle will be negative, sine of a second quadrant angle will be positive. You have to look at the quadrant of the angle that you're taking the sine or the cosine. So, if you wrote this down on your paper, on the test, I don't think that would be 4 out of 6. Because the simplifying is much more difficult than this one. Anyway, for those of you who've been keeping up with the homework, this radical thing here looks ugly, but it comes out nice, yeah? Those of you who did it. Only one person going like this. Come on! This and this come out beautiful. That's why I picked that number. I will let you discover that for yourself. It's just arithmetic after that. Okay, number 5. We just did this yesterday. Yeah, but I forgot. How about looking at the notes, or how about look at the video? Oh, I never thought of that. Okay, how do you change a product into a sum? What do you do? What's the first step? Split it into 2 equal parts. See, I have 2 iguana. So you make 1 iguana. Does this even sound familiar? This is 24 hours ago. Plus 1 iguana. That's why I put the 2 there, to make it easy for you. On the test, what if it's not 2? What if, like 1 year, I put k? Is that going to throw you off if you put k? Then you just put k over 2 iguana and k over 2 iguana. Okay, now look, I have sine, cosine. What do I have to add here to make an identity? Cosine, sine. But if you add that, you got to subtract it over here. Minus cosine, sine. And then when you look at the first 2 terms, hey, you somebody. That is the sine of 2x plus 5x. And then if you look at the 3rd and 4th terms, you somebody. That's the sine of 2x minus 5x. So sine of 7x plus sine of negative 3x. Box that, that's the answer. Well, that's the answer, but it's not simplified. So if you wrote this on your paper on Friday, that would be a minus 2. How come? Because sine of, what is sine of negative 3x? Negative sine 3x. Right? You had to do one like that on today's speed quiz, right? Sine is an odd function. Sine of negative theta equals negative sine theta. You have to do that. In fact, when you take the AP exam next year, this is how they test to see if you know your trig identities and your rules of logarithms. You can do all your calculus work, and that's the answer, but you look at the 5 choices, that's not there. You have to pick out the correct answer. So if you don't know sine of negative theta is negative sine theta, then it's all that work for nothing. Okay, 8BC. Okay, now we got a whole bunch of equations. 8B. This looks like, okay, this is the level that you can see on the test right here. Fuck, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. Well, change everything to sine it, right? If you don't know anything, change everything to sine and cosine. Cross multiply. And then, hey, you almost somebody. What do I need, instead of a 4, what do I need there to make an identity? I need a 2. So what can I do to make the 4 into a 2? Divide both sides by 2. That's what you do, man. It's called lomi. And then, hey, you somebody now. That's sine 2x. And come on, how many times have we done this problem? This is the kind you gotta go 2 times around, yeah. Sine of what angle is 1/2? Pi over 6 by pi over 6. And then add 2 pi to each of these, so you get 13 pi over 6, 17 pi over 6, and then divide them by 2. Don't forget to go 2 times around now. Because that's probably going to be minus 3 or 4. In fact, this is going to come up a lot on the test. You're going to have lots of like 2x, 3x, 4x. I'm just warning you now. Because that's what we're learning, right? Okay, it's BC. Well, 8C is really easy, you know, unless you make it difficult. Hey, you somebody, huh? upside down. He's standing on his head. There. So reciprocatize both sides. Raise both sides to the -1 power. Okay, now then, you somebody, yeah? Come on, we just have to speak with you somebody. Okay, let me write it down for you. Tangent theta over 2 is equal to sine theta all over 1 plus cosine theta, correct? You somebody! This is theta. That's the theta. So that's equal to tangent theta over 2. So what is 2x over 2? All right, I'll just write it. 2x over 2 then. But then the 2's cancel out, and so now you just get tangent x equal 1 over root 3, but that's a number you're supposed to know already, right? Oh boy. Tangent of what angle is 1 over root 3? What is that? No, you guys take it from there. I'm not taking it from there. And then 8. Oh, very good. Everybody, got the hints, that's why. You think you're going to have hints? Think you're going to have hints on it? And who wrote 10? Was that Chow? Castration for him. How many people got number 9? How many people even looked at number 9? Number 9 is a good problem. And you'll see why when you do it. Okay, we're gonna, after number 9, then that's it. Hopefully we can finish in time. Tangent x equals 24/7 and is acute. What does acute mean? It's in the first quadrant. So 24/7. Oh, you like to use Pythagorean triple, Mr. Bart. Duh. I think any trig teacher would rather you put integers, right? So you're going to see Pythagorean triples. Compute tangent of x over 4. No. Mr. Park, we never heard that. Yeah, well, then, like, can I write that as a sum or difference? What do I do? Half of something? Yeah. Isn't x over 4 half of something? X over 2, right? Now, tangent of theta over 2. There's 3 identities. Which was the best one I told you? 1 minus cosine over sine. That's the best one to use because you just have one term in the denominator and then it's easier to simplify like that. Oh, so now I got half angles here and here. Oh no, Monsieur Park. So that's what? Plus or minus square root of 1 plus cosine x over 2. And on the bottom you get plus or minus square root 1 minus cosine x over 2. But do we know what cosine x is? Yeah, look at this triangle. Cosine x is 7 over 25. Hey, you somebody! You remember I just did that radical just 2 minutes ago? Anyway, for those of you who've been doing your homework, you know this radical comes out nice. It comes out beautiful. Okay, now the only thing you got to figure out is whether to use the plus or minus. Well, if angle x is acute, that means it's in the first quadrant between 0 and pi over 2. What happens, what can you say about x over 2? It's between 0 and pi over 4, which means it's still in the first quadrant, right? So cosine and sine in the first quadrant are both positive. Okay, so if you wrote this down on your paper, you probably get 4 out of 6. Okay, but now you got to simplify. Now we didn't do it last time, but what the heck, we're going to do it now. So 1 minus, now how do you simplify this? What? Look, you get the square root of 1 plus 7/25 over 2. How do you simplify that? Multiply top and bottom inside the radical by? When you have fractions within fractions, we've been doing this the whole year. Multiply by the LCD, which is, rhymes with 25. That's so sad. So you got the square root of 25 plus 7 over 50, which is the square root of 32 over 50, but that reduces to the square root of 16 over 25, which is 4/5. Look how beautiful. That's beautiful. And the denominator, because obviously lots of us not doing your homework, 1 minus 7/25 over 2, because if you do your homework, you already know what it's going to be. Anybody? Yeah. Okay, but we just gotta do it. Just reinvent the wheel all the time. Square root 25 minus 7 over 50, which is the square root of 18 over 50, which reduces to the square root of 9 over 25, which is 3/5. But if you just think about it, if cosine of an angle is 4/5, doesn't the sine have to be 3/5? Because when you draw the 3, 4, 5 triangle, it's got to be plus or minus 3/5, right? But anyway, just keep on going. Look, you just got to do a lot of computation. So what you got, see, a lot of you, what you don't do, you just go, oh, Mr. Park will do it on the board. I'll watch it on the video later. If you really want to get good, you got to sit there and you just got to grind it out. You sit there and you just keep pushing and pushing until you get the answer. You work and work and work. So just keep going. How do I simplify this? Multiply top and bottom by 5. So you get 5 minus 4 over 3. So you just keep sitting, you just sit there and you work and you work and you work. Just work it out until you finally get 1/3. Only 2 people got that joke. You know how hard it was to make the answer come up to 1/3? Just like you do this. You sit there and you work and work and work until you get 1/3. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it wasn't that hard to make it come out to 1/3. Okay. So you can see what you're going to do on the, you got to have all the identities at your fingertips. That's the key on this test. And then of course computation, right? But I already told you, every time you make a sign error, it's going to be -2. And I'll give you a hint right now. This radical, you're going to see it again. Here, I'll give you a hint. I never told anybody, I mean, all these years, but when it comes out, when cosine comes out to 7/25, it's going to be nice. Unless I come up with something else. Okay, we only got 3 minutes left, so look, tonight's homework, same thing. Pretty much the same thing except different, right? Oh, so that means we're kind of good at the magic number, because I think on the test you're going to have to do magic number twice. Okay, we're done. So tomorrow, last chance for questions.